Hi, my name is Kim Bateman. My father, Dr. LaVar Bateman, speech professor at BYU, was in his last week of life, and he told me about a life insurance policy that nobody in the family knew about. The beneficiary wasn't to be me, and it wasn't to be my mom. The beneficiary is actually you, the people in this room today. Because that life insurance policy was to fund a gift to BYU with the object of perpetuating the Sloan Speech Festival. It took me about a year to fulfill the two conditions, and that is receiving the money from the insurance company and then making sure it went to the correct place for the correct use. But since that time, I've been visiting this event every single time. I have to say, I think the speeches are getting better with time, and I'm also happy to say that it looks like the awards are gradually increasing as well, which would be make my dad very happy. My dad was born in 1920 in Panguitch, Utah, the first child of two college graduates, the first in either one of their pioneer families. Unfortunately, when my dad was just 7, his father died of typhoid fever, forcing him to grow up much too quickly and to stand in for a father at a very young age with his 3 younger brothers. His mom immediately moved them back to South Jordan, where her family lived, in order to get a job and to raise them with some help. My dad went to Jordan High. His mother, in the meantime, had married for a second time a widowed farmer with about 20 acres and 8 additional children to feed, right in the middle of the Great Depression. LaVar wanted to go to BYU very badly. He was determined to follow his parents through a college education, and he did go. He slept in a tent for the first few months on the BYU farm, where he had a job to support his education. And he really lived without any support from his parents financially, except when he could ride his bike back to South Jordan and get a little egg bunny from his mom. He loved BYU, and I think BYU loved him. He took classes in speech and drama as well as other things. He was able to graduate from BYU before going into the military, and that allowed him to go in as a naval officer. When he was on leave from the Navy, he married my mother, Helen Bateman. When he was discharged, he and she returned to poverty again when they went to Wisconsin on a GI Bill to give him his PhD in speech. You'd be interested to know that his PhD thesis was the effect of the Mormon Church missionary program on creating a public speaking community in the church. From there, he went straight to BYU and became a member of the faculty. He and my mom built a house with their own hands just a few blocks from here, where they raised a family. He did take the family for a 2-year leave to the island of Guam, where he helped organize a speech and English program at the Territorial College there. And we went on other leaves, 2 sabbatical leaves, one to Michigan State University, where he taught, and to Washington, D.C., where he worked as an aide to then Senator Wallace Bennett Sr. Let me tell you a little bit about his accomplishments at BYU. Of course, his main work there was to teach public speaking and rhetoric, which he did with great care. He was also coach of the debate team, and I remember him taking the debaters around the state and even throughout the western states, sometimes in our family car. He headed the Speakers Bureau at one point, and he was the head of forum assemblies. During the summers, he served with BYU Travel Studies, and he led dozens of tours throughout the world. And, of course, he took a turn as chairman of the speech department. On his watch, the advent of radio and then TV and other entertainment changed the interest of the public away from standing talks to other kinds of speaking. And life at BYU reflected that. The speech department was eventually dissolved, and public speaking was assigned to the communications department. Rhetoric, oral rhetoric, which my dad taught, was sent to the English department as written rhetoric. And even the debate team was dropped from BYU. I think toward the end of his career, my dad felt that the art of public speaking was fading away, at least at BYU. And I think that that is part of the reason why he was so interested in funding an improved Sloan Speech Festival. He felt it was his last great hope to keep public speaking alive at BYU. So I'm not sure that people in heaven are terribly interested in what goes on now that they're gone, but I kind of think he is. I hope that he knows about TED Talks. He'd feel a lot better about public speaking in the country if he knew that. And I'm quite sure he knows about the Sloan Speech Festival. I'm quite sure he's maybe proud of me for giving this talk, but a lot prouder of those of you who are going to get up and give your powerful talks tonight, and of the wonderful instructors who have gotten you to this point, and the staff that keep this event going. I kind of think he's looking in on us right now, waiting for you speakers to hit a home run. I hope you do. Good luck.